There's been plenty for Saints fans to shout about already this season.
Tadic back inside! It is 8 for Southampton!
Fantastic football, spectacular goals.
Drills it! Oh my word!
And the lofty league position beyond the wildest dreams of most supporters. And even more reason today to believe that something truly special is happening behind the doors of Southampton Football Club. The opening of the new training centre has been highly anticipated, 5 years since planning permission was granted, and 2.5 years since the diggers arrived on site. Today is an exciting day for all of those who contributed to its construction.
It's a day that's been long coming. It's a day that some thought would never arrive. But for the club as a whole, there's been a huge investment gone into the training ground. I think by the time we finish everything and done the buildings that we now plan, it could be close to £40 million. That for a club of our size and our stature as it stands at the moment is a huge investment, but something that we see as incredibly important to the future of our club.
We had old buildings that had been built not for purpose but for different purpose, cricket pavilion type facilities, tiny little dressing rooms, and we had good surfaces, good football pitches, but nothing like as big enough to house the number of people that we were going to develop as the whole process grew.
Work began on St Staplewood's site in March 2012, although planning was well underway whilst the club was still in League One. A huge amount of research and design took place before a brick was even laid.
Well, there's a lot of thought gone behind it. We didn't really want a split site where the players are close but they can't actually get a feel of the first team. So the building is very much for professional players, players that are young and have broken into the under-18s and the under-21 squad. So they start at this end of the building. There's a closeness with the first team. The actual specification in the changing room changed slightly as they move upwards and onwards through the building, basically.
It's been very important that we designed a facility that works, that met our needs. We talk a lot about our pathway to the first team, young players coming through the system and making it into the first team. So we designed a facility that reflected those aspirations. So the very young players walk into the entrance right at the bottom of these fields that are behind me, and they look up at this building and that's what they aspire to. So they work their way up the pitches till they get onto this first team training pitch. When they enter this building at 16, they start at one end and they work their way through the building to the first team dressing room. So it reflects that development pathway that we want them to have in their mind, so that they've got a focus, they know what they're aiming for. So we have technical targets for them, we have physical targets for them, but actually they can see the target is getting to this building and getting that first team dressing room.
Yeah, it gives us a great chance really for our young players to be in and around the first team players and staff. Obviously brings them closer together off the pitch as well as on it. So being able to mix with those senior pros can only be a good thing for our young players.
Ronald is aware of who they are, what they look like. He knows all of them by their first names, so that is a real togetherness. And the same with Sammy, the same with Irwin, same with Jan and Dave Watson. They know, I would say, players from sort of 17 years of age, obviously right up until they get into the first team squad.
Whilst huge thought was going into the structure and layout of the building to allow first team and academy players to work side by side, there was also a great deal of planning going into the facilities that the players would benefit from.
There's very much elements of this building where we challenge the norm, and our medical facility you won't find another one like it in this country, honestly, not in professional sport. So if we take the pool for example, just the pool itself probably took a year. Amazingly, it took a year to finally come to the final design. It's a split level, and the split level runs the opposite to a traditional pool. So the players have a deep length and a shallow length rather than an end. So you can do deep water running, you can do swimming, you can do a whole range of exercises where you're standing or you need the deep water. We can change the temperature of the pool. It's our limits of our imagination, not the limits of the pool. I think it's either my 16th or 17th season, and sitting here with you, it seemed not too distant long ago, was a single story falling down building, and the transformation that has taken place, it's been absolutely extraordinary. And it's not just the rise of the first team, it's the rise of the academy, it's the rise of the facilities, of the staff, the brand, the image of the club. To sit second in the Premier League, it's amazing. And this building kind of encapsulates that whole thing, really.
When the diggers arrived to begin work in March 2012, almost all staff were moved into temporary accommodation. Everything had to be moved to allow building work to take place. Paul Mitchell heads up the recruitment of players both at senior and youth level and explains how his team of scouts and analysts had to cope with less than ideal working conditions.
I don't think it went unnoticed to the owner that my department grew incredibly big during the times in the porter cabins, and when people came in there was little to no space, a lot of TVs, a lot of monitors generating an awful lot of heat and you know, tough working conditions for my staff in particular. And the space that we've been given now more than makes up for them years in the porter cabins. I feel, from my point of view personally, we've got the best working space potentially any staff member could ask for. This is our analysis department. So we have Scott, first team analyst, supported by Kelvin. So they'll be looking at footage from the weekend for debriefs with the first team, and then Kelvin will be looking at our opposition for our next few fixtures. Tom deals with recruitment, so he supports youth and academy recruitment, so looking at identifying our next player or looking at comparing one of our future targets with maybe one of our own players to see how they shape up. The depth of analysis we go in on our opponents as individuals to feed back to the first team is unbelievable, and you know, Scott is really busy in terms of pre-match debriefs, individual clippings, delivering to the goalkeepers, the units. You know, it can be a wide and wonderful varied analysis on ourselves and our opponents.
Paul's team had to work around the clock this summer to secure new first team signings in what he admits was a challenging transfer window.
I think everyone will say, you know, we've had the toughest transfer window of, I think, hopefully my lifetime. I can't really afford to give up any more hair as it is. Across all the spectrums really, we've had young players coming in from the academy recruitment side where we've had competitors in the industry wanting to sign that same individual, and we've utilised the space, the facility, the philosophy and the environment that we create to really engage with a parent and a family, and it's made positive outcomes of young player signings for our under 16 age group. And then obviously the senior transfer window, we call it, probably the toughest transfer window any football club will ever have to endure. But the working space and the platform that we was given in this new facility allows for me to have a very positive and successful window and gone from strength to strength and building on the success of last year. So the training facility is already repaying back the investment.
Finally, in the scouting and recruitment department, one of the more intriguing rooms in the new pavilion.
Yeah, it's basically just a box I painted black, and it's just generated so much interest. I've got to really run up with it. But no, it's another phenomenal investment by the ownership, and the concept and theories that go on at this club is always pioneering, pushing boundaries. And the Black Boss, I have to say, is a leading light in that in recruitment for me. It's based around the theory of really challenging perception. It's a great delivery tool, so the first team will use it to feedback for pre and post match. The academy will use it to player audit throughout the age group, so we're making sure we're not recruiting on top of potential talent. And then we'll use it as a recruitment tool to deliver to the manager, to deliver internally and really challenge theories, philosophies and perception on individuals. So we'll break a player down, we'll look through footage in fine detail, we'll work off player profiles, player KPIs and really go into them deeper depth than most clubs to try and make sure we make the best acquisition possible for this football club.
Southampton FC today announced that the main building at Staplewood will be dedicated to its late owner Markus Liebherr and shall be renamed the Markus Liebherr Pavilion.
This is a wonderful symbol. The Markus Liebherr Pavilion shows the commitment that we have as a club to the future of Southampton Football Club, and you can feel it here if you go into the building. In every corner you can feel growth, you can feel development, and you can feel excitement for becoming better and stronger into the future. Well, when you look at the phase that Markus came in, so much of what's happened here has been through hardships and through difficult situations, and he had the courage and really set the tone, and Katarina has walked right in his footsteps, and her name could be on the building just as well as Markus's, and it's the values, it's the people that the Liebherr family are that really show up in the whole complex. And it's wonderful that Markus's name is on the building. He deserves it for having taken those steps at that time, and as we did lately, go through difficulties and challenges, and in his image we've continued to persevere and to become stronger and to build Southampton Football Club in forward moving thinking.
Markus bought the club in 2009. His vision was to create a sustainable football club, one that plays great football, and integral to that was the building of the training ground. And it is right, given the costs that I mentioned earlier, and much of that has come from his and Katarina's as wealth, is that actually there's a lasting memory at the club. But it's right and fitting in Markus as well that it's understated, and it's actually the heart of the club that is named after him.
I think it's absolutely fitting that it's called the Markus Liebherr Pavilion, and I think that it is a reflection of the philosophy that he came here with, that we bought into and that we've developed over the last 5 years, because it shows what we're about is forward thinking. We want to be ahead of the game. That was all part of the vision, but we want to play attractive football. We want to play technically good football. We want to win. We want to make progress. We want silverware. The big thing I repeat whenever I get these kind of interviews is that one thing that Markus said to me, and you know, I only knew him for a very short time right at the beginning, was he wanted fans to be able to come to St Mary's and be proud of what they see their team producing. He wanted them to look forward to match days, to be excited about what they were going to see. And I think it's absolutely fitting that we recently have gone through a period of absolutely outstanding football, goal scoring, you know, beyond people's dreams. You know, to score 8 goals in one game just before this pavilion's open, I think he must be up there looking down and going, "You see, I told you so." So it's very important that this reminds us of that, and we never stray from that vision.
There's no question that for Katarina, anything and every mention of Markus is important and is part of what she's all about. If you look at the empty seat beside Katarina and myself in St Mary's, if you look at the pictures of him in and around St Mary's, and now this pavilion opening in his name and in his light, it's important for her that everybody remembers into this sustainable future that we're going into, what he did and what it meant for him to be a part of the Saints.
Another significant part of today's announcement are details of Phase 2 of the project.
At the moment we have what we call the Academy Village, which is a porter cabin village at the other end of this training ground, and it reflects again the quality of the people we have, that we've been able to produce a world-class academy in what essentially are porter cabin facilities, but a world-class education, world-class coaching and development, and therefore what we want to do is replicate that in a purpose-built building. So again, a new building that's fit for purpose with an education centre, sports science laboratory, changing rooms, classrooms, proper offices, meeting rooms, and a lot of other facilities, including 2 new gymnasium areas. So we have a full spectrum of fitness training available to us, and basically take those people that have worked very, very hard in temporary resources to another bespoke building, which again will take that development to another level.
We're all very grateful for what we can see today. It's been going on for some time, and we finally see the delivery of a fantastic building. And you're right, the vision is there for further development, and really it's a dream. It's a dream to have what we have, and what we'll see in the future is going to be fantastic.
We still have a lot of growth in and around the complex. We are building pitches as we speak. We're very close to initiating the annex building, which will fit inside the L shape of the Markus Liebherr Pavilion, and in that annex we will fill in the holes that we maybe find are missing in the present building, or of course increasing the educational rooms, the youth below the under 18s, and giving them the best possible facilities to grow in.
You know, we will be able to do things in there that perhaps we didn't envisage, 3 or 4 years ago when we first thought about this. You know, there's a plan to have a block of bedrooms, because we train twice a day. We like to have a good break between sessions, so sometimes when they train in the afternoon, it's not till 4 or 5 o'clock. They need to recover, so there's day beds where players can relax, sleep, and get the right recovery in. So the meaningful training in the afternoon all makes things, makes the team fitter, stronger, makes them recover from injuries quicker. So we've been able to think all those things into the project as we've gone along, and everyone will benefit from that. The academy right the way through to the first team.